Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Welcome to Prayers to the Moon. I am Effie Wild. It is good to be here. Please let me know if you're in the chat. Just say hello. Thumbs up. What are you drinking? Where are you coming in from? Good to see you all after the month of cluster effery, which is what it's been over here. Just going to grab this and share it in the places. How was your weekend? Tell me everything. I had a pretty good weekend. I did some teaching in Book of Days. We had a live gathering that was really lovely. And I worked a lot. I did work a lot. But I just enjoyed myself so much. It was so good. The whole thing was so good. Except for the part where, like, I was up until 4 o'clock in the morning one night playing Solitaire Clash. Don't download that game. Don't do it. Do not do it. It's not a good idea. Hi, Sybil. Of course you're in attendance. Good to see you. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Rose. Lovely to see you guys. I popped the link in the Wilderhood. It's good to see you. Finally got everything worked out with the computer that melted down on me. What a trial, man. Seriously. So glad that that's over. It was quite something, I'll tell you. There we go. It had paused on me and I had no idea where I was in the stream. Yay! Thanks so much for your message, Dee. That was lovely. I got a bunch of messages today. Something must be going on astrology-wise, because I got like some letters and some messages from people. Just like appreciate it. Could I not have your butthole right in my face? Thank you. Just like appreciation stuff, right? It was really lovely. So lovely. Oh, you're doing bod. Yay. So glad, Kimmy. Lovely to have you in there. I can barely see. So if you see me doing this, it's because I can barely see. This is so annoying. I'm going to have such wrinkles by the time I finally get my eyes fixed. Hi, Barbara. It's good to see everybody. We're going to keep it really simple today since it's a re-entry after a really intense tech disaster time thing, period. We're going to do some patterning today. I just wanted to do a little bit of work with watercolors, and we're going to use a palette that I created myself that I found. I created this palette quite some time ago, but I found it when I was cleaning out the corner of Doom, which I have finally done. Exciting times, I know. But I just want to do some simple florals and chat with y'all and hang out and just make this as simple and easy peasy as humanly possible. I wish there was a way to create, like, how can I make the text bigger in this window, or can I not? Oh, look at that. Beautiful. So if you pop out the window for the chat from YouTube, you can increase the font size. That's amazing. Ah, that's so much better. So much better. All right, so let's just take a breath together. Day 78 sober for me, by the way, in case you guys are enjoying my day counts. I'm enjoying my day counts. I don't know at what point I'll stop counting, but I'm pretty sure the year mark feels like a good time to stop counting. My sober challenge is over on, or in 90 days. So 90 days is how long this challenge goes. But I'll be continuing beyond that just because I don't want to die, if you see what I'm saying. So I will be continuing long after that. It's going really well. Thank you so much, Kimmy. I'm really loving being clear-headed and not waking up feeling wine sick. That's really a huge improvement in my life. So that's my personal update. I had a nap this afternoon, so if I look a little just got out of bed, that would be why. I did put on lipstick for you though. And I had a dream that I was living in a place with my sister who passed away a very long time ago, um, by her own hands, her own choice. And we were living in this place, and it was like a much bigger place than I'm living in now. And I was trying to find space for my little pottery wheel that I have but have never used. I got it, um, I think last year for my birthday. My son actually paid for it. Um, and then I couldn't wake up. Have you guys ever? I am a little bit, Deborah. Um, do you have those dreams where you get sleep paralysis? So in the dream, I was trying to pry my eyes open. They're the worst kind of dreams. And I finally managed to wake myself up. And here I am, a little bit sleepy headed, but present and accounted for, which is lovely. All right, let us switch camera angles. So I want to do some flowers, but I want to do them so that their parts aren't joined, so that there's white space. Hey, Lydia. So there's white space between the flowers. So I'm going to start that with a pencil drawing rather than just going straight in with watercolor. So let's switch cameras now that I've got this all working. Look, it's a miracle. Here we are. It works. Now I know the angle is off a little bit, but this works better for me in terms of just ensuring that I can sit properly and have enough space. Of course, there's a cat butt right here. I need some space, love. There you go. Off you go. She's gonna try and sneak behind the computer. See, you guys can all see, right? That's good for you. It's good for me too. Is that in focus? Because I can't tell. Because I'm blind as a bat. I wish you guys, like, I hope you guys know I'm really not joking when I say, like, blind. Like, it's terrible. I can't go out anymore without someone to guide me unless I know exactly where I'm going, because I can't see, like, street signs. Forget it. Like, it's brutal. Okay, good. All right. So I've got a pencil, I've got an eraser. We're going to do a very simple little floral pattern today. I want to keep it in the realm of like really warm colors with maybe a little bit of something, something, I don't know. But we're not going to do it too small. Okay, I'm going to start down here. That feels like a good place to start. So I'm starting this painting off with a Staedtler. This is an H pencil. This is much darker than I would do if I were on my own, but I want you guys to be able to actually see the pencil marks that I'm making. I would usually use the 2H as my go-to. So you don't have to draw your design first. You can just go ahead and paint your design right off the hop. But I really want to keep the little petals separate from the center and from each other. And I know that I will get carried away with the paint if I don't have a line drawing to go by. So that's how we're doing it today. I know I normally pull a card, but we're really just going as simple as possible today. So just different little floral shapes. I really like that circle one. That was pretty sweet. I like doing these and then going in and doing a whole bunch of mark making. I'm getting a little too careless here. But for this one, I think what I'm going to do is do it the pencil first See, I don't want that. I don't want them overlapping like that. I really want them quite separated. That's what I see in my brain anyway. I'll just erase, erase, erase. I'll do one. Do that up here a little higher. I was saying something and I lost my plot. Yeah, I like doing these and then doing a lot of mark making in them, little doodly things. So I think what I'm going to do actually is once I'm finished figuring out my florals, which will take like, you know, multiple sketchy lines like this, I think I'm going to outline with black pen. And then we're going to treat it like a coloring book. So we'll just color in. So that's going to let me make sure that my petals look the way that I want them to. Is it all in? No, that's not working here. There we go. That better? The cat knocked it to the side when she left the desk. Hello! We got right into it today. Since I had such a difficult so many tech issues, I just thought I would just dive in and give you some bang for your buck. No waffling about. Just get right into the painting today. I feel like I want another smaller. So this is just basically surface pattern design, right? So I want something that I can put on fabric. I don't want anything hanging off the page so that I can make a repeating pattern out of it. So I'm getting into that kind of thing lately. So first pass is just a quick pencil sketch. Ooh, vertigo. It was Sybil's fault. It was her fault. Yeah, I think I want a half of a big flower. Oh yeah, I can't do a repeating pattern, can I? Because of the way that I've done. Oh well, never mind. We're not going to worry about that. Can't do that either. I don't want anything overlapping. See why I use pencil? Now you understand. There are whole ass TikTokers that do this live for hours. They'll just go on TikTok live and doodle and pattern and color. Some of them do coloring. Okay, let's see what we've got here. I'm going to use an 03 Pigma Micron. That's a 5. Also a 5. For heaven's sake, there's an 03. Can I get this up? Oh, no, that's as good as it gets. And they'll just sit there for hours with their music blaring, coloring, or painting or doodling. And I love in community, right? So they've got a bunch of people in their lives hanging out. And I love that. Very much like what we do here, except the Tiki Talkies have all sorts of like badges and stuff. I'm just going to make these all over. Pivot. And these ones I'll make teardrop. So it's whimsical. We're just going really whimsical today, which makes me happy. And I wish I could have music blaring because we are such a quiet group of people. You know, when we get together, you guys don't chat, you paint, which I love, but it would also be really fun to have some background music going, but the YouTubes would immediately shut that shit down. Unless it was like, I guess I could make a playlist of my art list stuff and use that in the background. But then you guys might want to be playing your own music. So I'm going to make these a bit smaller so that I don't have too much overlapping over here. There we go. I'm going to stick an extra petal in there. And this one I'm just moving down a little bit. Very coloring booky, very mindful, very demure. What have I dropped? There's something of flying. Pencil. Yeah, patterning is definitely good for my brain meats. Thanks, Lydia. Some of the petals are off and we're just not going to worry about it, right? No stress, just marks. I think I'm going to do this. Cute. So I'm using the Pigmas because um, the ink in these is waterproof. I will heat set it though before I do anything, because what we don't want is to get our line work in like that and then have it smear as soon as we erase or start to add watercolors. So just give that a bit of heat to make sure that that pen is set. It's lovely that you're here, Barbara. Yeah, last week was a drag. I was so upset. I was so ready to be done with the computer stuff and logging on and discovering that I couldn't get my camera to find my computer or vice versa was a total bummer. And I didn't want to just pop off and email you, so I stayed there and very glumly had to report that we couldn't paint, which sucked. Okay, I don't even know what colors are what in this palette anymore because they've all moved around over time, but that's okay. Use this one. And I have two different water cups here. One I'll use to clean the brush and one I'll use to pick up some clean water. Yeah, I know about Spoonflower. I'm in a couple of groups. One day I'll feel confident enough in my patterning that I will, attempt that kind of thing. But today is not that day. I think I'm going with this beautiful teal to start with. I'm going to put some of that out on my palette, which I know you cannot see, but trust me, it's over here. All right, what I'm going to do first, though, is I'm going to pick a flower and I'm going to add water to the petals, which is where this black line comes in really handy. And then I'm going to bleed this color into that water, so it's a wet into wet application. Gives a really soft look. It's rather too much water there. I'll grab a tissue. There was just too much water in there. Yay, Kaz! Yeah, I'm in a couple of groups, Barbara, dedicated to Spoonflower and niche Spoonflower and all of that fun stuff, but I just haven't dipped my toes into Spoonflower yet. Spoonflower has these competitions that seem quite arbitrary and frustrating. And they're also proponents now of AI. They allow AI patterns, which is really upsetting. You know, I don't mind the use of AI, ChatGPT for like if you're stumped, if you're writing ad copy, if you're, you know, you need an idea of some kind. That's one thing, but the wholesale theft of art really bothers me, and that's exactly what our AI is. It's a plagiarism machine, basically. Scrapes the internet for stuff, and then when you put in a prompt, it just loads some version of that stuff, and not even well. If you've ever seen AI generated hands, you'll know. But until my eyes are better, I'm not really gonna pursue pattern design, surface pattern design, because my lines are never clean. My doodles are super wobbly because I have no depth perception, right? I can barely see, so that's just not my jam right now. Whoops, I forgot to add water to that leaf there, or petal. And that one. What am I doing? Did you guys see that the taster sessions for light, A Year of Light started? Excuse me, started today. I think I've got that linked below. So A Year of Light is a year-long collaborative e-course by Tamara Laporte, because Lifebook is no more. Today, this year is the last year that she'll be doing Lifebook. And we're doing A Year of Light instead. And of course, she invited me to come teach because I have always been in her courses from the very beginning. She keeps reminding me, you know, you can say no. And I'm like, I would never. I'd have to be dying, I think, to say no to teach in one of her collabs. I love teaching in her collabs. She's one of my favorite human beings. Look how pretty. much water. Just dab that up. These detail brushes, they're new. No, not these ones. These ones aren't new. These ones I got ages ago. It's got a really good tip on it though. Let me see here. Where else do I want to put this blue? So I'm going to go wet into dry in the centers of these. No, yes, too late now. So wet into dry gives you a lot more control over what the paint is doing, and you also get way more saturation. So you'll see that the color that you get when you go wet into dry is much more saturated than the color that you get when you go wet into wet. Who knew I would ever grow to love watercolors as much as I do? Still pencil marks there, but that's fine. Don't worry about it for stuff like this. Yeah, I'm getting better with them for sure. I've been doing a lot of work with them during the 100-day project. So I know how they handle. I know the ins and outs. I know how to layer them now. But when I want ease, I reach for watercolors, which is so bizarre to me because I used to be so terrified of them. Gosh, it's so warm in here, y'all. I did a class years ago with Alyssa Burke on patterning. With watercolors, and that was really awesome. But I didn't really do anything with it. Yeah, Tam is amazing. going here. So this is a QOR paint. It's the golden watercolors that this really special binder. They're beautiful. And this is the cobalt teal QOR or core. I don't know what QOR stands for. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere it stands for something that I can't remember. But I fell in love with them even before I ever started using them. I just liked the fact that you could get like watercolors in the exact same colors as the fluid colors come in, the acrylics come in. All right, now I'm going to get into some orange. Actually, I'm just going to hit this with some heat first. I want this to be dry, just so that we eliminate any risk of bleeding. Okay, now I'm going to go into, since these are all smaller areas, I'm going to go wet into to dry. And I'm going to use this orange. Pretty sure this is a yellow, but it looks orange to me. It's very deep yellow. Oh, that's so pretty. Definitely yellow. I'm thinking this is Diary Live yellow, which is one of my favorite yellows of all time. It's just so bright. I know, who am I? Oh, that color combo. This is making me ridiculously happy. With Andrea? Andrea who? Oh, Andrea Schroeder. Yes? Do you mean Andrea Schroeder? Creative Dream Incubator person, whom I adore, also Canadian. Oh, Gamal, yeah. She does those big eyed girls, right? Her work is striking. Isn't it gorgeous? I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, so I'm going to give it a go. Is it Liko? Hope I got that right. Right? It's so pretty. This is a really pretty color combo. Really, really liking it. I have to remember this. Put this in my artsy grimoire. That's why stuff like this is so important, right? If I'm teaching a lesson in something, I'm going to go with what I know for the most part. I don't get a lot of opportunity to experiment because I want to make sure that my students have an understandable lesson that they can. Leiko, beautiful. Okay. Like Seiko, watch. Um, yeah, so if I'm teaching, if I'm doing a tutorial, then I need to make sure that the instructions are, understandable to the students, that it's something that I can bang out with relative ease. I don't experiment a whole lot when I'm teaching. So stuff like this gives me the opportunity to experiment and find new things, like this color combo. And I have these colors in fluid acrylics as well, so this can translate to other things that I might want to do. Super cool. Loving this. I was going to go teal and orange for like a kingfisher effect, but this is just scrumptious. Am I still in focus here? I can't tell because nothing is in focus for me for real in real life. Awesome. Thanks, Rose. So we had some overbleed happening over here, but that's okay. I'm going to be unstressy depressy about it. It's fine. Me too, Kimmy. It's the worst. My kingdom for 10 grand. Because that's about what it will take to get into a private clinic. And honestly, I don't even know if they'll do me because of the retinal detachment that I had. There's a silicone buckle in there. But I mean, the private clinic, like, they're no different from the public clinic or the public hospital. So I don't know, they might be able to do it. It would be so cool if I won the lottery and I could just have my files transferred from St. Joe's to a private clinic, because they would do one eye in 1 week and one eye in the other. So I'd only lose like 2 weeks without glasses. And then I could see an optometrist and get glasses, but it's going to be a pain in the butt the way that they're doing it at St. Joe's, because they're doing one eye in August or July and one eye in August. And I can't see an optometrist to get a new prescription for my glasses until a month after. All right, let's get this dry. And then I am going to go in and delicately remove some of the pencil marks that are left over. Don't forget to hit that like button, you guys. Okay, let me see here. I know I have a smaller eraser somewhere. This one we'll have to do. Just cleaning that off and making a tip. There are some areas where I missed. Again, not stressed about it, not worried about it, but before I add any color to this background, I just want to make sure I don't have any pencil marks. Or maybe not, any is not the goal, but at least fewer. Fewer is the goal. Erase that. No. So there were some of these petals that I painted, and I had too much paint on the brush, so it bled out. If I had done the sketch with a 2H like I usually do, that would be no big whoop, right? Because it's a very light pencil. But because I wanted you to see the pencil marks, and I used a HB instead, these pencil marks are quite visible. So I just want to make sure that there's not too much of that going on. I don't want it to be distracting. Using a soft brush just to brush those away. And I'm going to mix a color for the background. This is so fun to do, y'all. I'm going to take some of the cobalt that I used initially. And some of the yellow. mix a green. Now I know you can't see what I did there, but you'll see it in a second. And then when you mix a color with the colors that are already in the painting, you create harmony. I want that to be quite a bit wetter. So that is an instant perfect color for your background. It just creates a really beautiful, harmonious color palette, color way for you. So try that next time. So you'll want to mix, colors that won't make mud, obviously. Like you wouldn't mix blue and orange. Well, that's not true, actually. You could mix that, and you'd get, depending on what you'd get, depending on what you used, you could get a really lovely neutral. Like you'd get a nice brown. There's nothing wrong with brown. I don't use a lot of brown in my work. I use a lot of like transparent red, iron oxide and burnt orange, but those are really on the red side of the equation. Not a lot of brown going on. I also tend not to use a lot of neutrals, so my pieces are quite jarring to look at. There's no rest for the wicked when you look at my paintings. There's no gentle spot to land on. They're all super colorful. But I'm growing in my skills as I continue to practice. And I'm learning some stuff like mixing a color with the colors that you used in your painting to make a harmonious background color. Isn't that pretty? I could see this on onesies, unisex onesies. This would be a good pattern for gender neutral clothing. Although the whole concept of like gendered color is so bizarre to me. Yeah, it really does pop the yellow. Some more here. And it doesn't matter when you're mixing colors like this to get it exactly the same every time. It's all right if there are little variations. You'll end up with, there'll be different hues and of the same color. And that actually makes things a little bit more interesting. It's not just a flat color field. One of the things I didn't like about watercolors in my earlier days was that um, you get this like they were uneven, right? That's what I was calling it, uneven. But now I find that really interesting to look at. Like I like that there are watermarks and variations in the background. It's not all one flat color. And I like that when you layer them, you get a line, a water line. I want this to be just a little bit more blue. Blue in there. Just a bit too much blue. Oops. Not for the faint of heart, though, this kind of patterning, because the painting of this background is a bit tedious. So you got to go around all these tiny little marks that you've made. But it's not ideal for going live on YouTube, but it is a really lovely thing to do when you've got, you're binge watching a show or you've got an album that you love listening to, and you just put that on and you lose yourself. I need a new series. I just finished Sons of Anarchy for the 11th millionth time. So I have no comfort TV to watch right now. So I'm watching TikToks. It's always interesting to see what color it'll end up being once it's dry, because watercolors do get much paler as they dry. Acrylics tend to darken, but watercolors get much paler. I'm not worried about these little oopsies that I'm making. By the way, I can go back in with a little bit of color, a little bit of a more opaque layer to correct that later if I want to. But this is really just about regulating my nervous system and giving me something lovely and fun to do. A little bit of color magic thrown in, because these colors are so mood lifting. The Perfect Couple. Okay, I did have that cued because someone else recommended it and then I completely forgot about it. So thank you for the reminder. So let me just show you what I'll do with the areas where I've accidentally gone over my leaf. Let me just hit this with a bit of heat. This is all very mid-range. We're going to need to... oh, Suzanne, hi. Good to see you. We're going to need to add some lights and darks to this for it to be interesting. Because right now it's all very mid-range. So I would just go in like that. Tidy up a bit. probably can't even tell what I've done there. You probably couldn't even tell what was going on with the bleeding into my petals. Viking Valhalla. So is that a prequel or a sequel, or is it not related at all? Thanks, Sybil, for the addition to the painting today. Cat magic is always much appreciated. I want this design on a piece of pottery. That would be so pretty. A 100 years later, all right. I haven't finished Vikings, the original series, so maybe that's what I'll do, Suzanne. I'll finish the original and then I'll watch Vikings Valhalla. That sounds good to me. I loved that show, although the heart of it went out of me for it when Ragnar died. That was very upsetting. I watched what's the dragons one called? Anyway, it was really good. I'm all caught up on that one. Yeah, I've seen it on Netflix. See, when I first started working with watercolors, this kind of thing, this water line that we're getting from the overlapping paint, that would have driven me bonkers. But now I like it. It's just it's a feature. It's not a bug, Effie. I had to learn that that's a feature. Feature, not a bug. That's a pretty green that we got there. Just a slight hint of turquoise in that. Just a little bit bluer. Hey, Salem. You're good, baby. Don't worry about it. The puppy, yeah, someone else snatched it up, which was good because I'm really not in a place where I should be getting another puppy. I'm thinking more and more about the haircut, though. Ooh, Barbara, that's such a good idea. Yeah, Donna's a potter too. My pottery is moving, so I'm on hiatus from pottery until October 7th. Thank you. Yeah, I'm already missing it. It was such a part of my routine. Oops. See now why I'm like, yeah, I've got a fascination with surface pattern design, but I'm not going to do it until I have eyes that work. It's just too easy to make mistakes. Although I could do it on Procreate. The only thing is I don't really have a place to sit and do digital work right now. I guess I could just sit in here, I suppose. There is apparently a place where you can send in your designs and they'll make underglaze transfers for you, Donna. Did you know? Dee? Yeah. So you send them your designs and they'll make underglaze transfers for you. Which is something I'd really like to try at some point in the future because that sounds like a lot of fun. I don't remember the name of it. I've never looked at them. My pottery teacher told me that. And I haven't looked into it again because my eyes are not conducive to painting little things like this. without a whole lot of frustration. I'm pretty sure if you Googled it, you could figure out where. I think it's expensive. I think he mentioned that it can be quite expensive. But I would love to use underglaze transfers. I just don't, as an artist, right? I don't feel great about using somebody else's designs on my pots. I want to use my own designs. And sitting down and painting greenware right now is not a thing for me because I can only book time in the studio for 3 hours at a time. And it costs money to do that. I don't want to pay $15 to sit there and paint. So I'm setting up a little clay station here in my tiny little place so that I can do that, so that I can trim and bring the greenware home and sit in here and work with underglazes, paint designs on my pots. It's not a cheap hobby, that's for sure. Yeah, I've done that too. I did that in a decorating class with one of my teachers. That's pretty cool. There's a lady on Instagram that does these patchwork looking ones, and it's all newsprint and underglazes, and it's just so cool. Like, it's just so, they're pretty and so cool to look at. So we've got a bunch of different varieties of green happening in this background, which I'm happy about. That's cool to me. Um, but we've got like a really dark area, and then the rest of the areas are really super light, and I don't love that. So I'm going to dry it and see where I want to either lift or add. I'm not being as careful as I would be either if it were just me. Right? Isn't her work gorgeous? Yeah, her work is great. Yeah, and I agree with you. I think I would love it. I think I would do a lot more decorating if I wasn't under the clock pressure, because I can only, like, I rent time in, blocks of 3 hours. Um, and that's not enough time for me to decorate something. So all of my pots just get glazed. See how that's lightening up quite a bit? All right, so I'm gonna do something risky here. I'm gonna spray and blot. Don't panic. That did not really do what I wanted it to. Oh, I love that. Body doubling. I'm always here for that. Let me body double for you any day of the week. Okay, that did not do what I wanted it to do, so I'm going to have to go in and lighten that manually. I mean, with my brush. So I just want to go in like that, kind of activate that, and then boop. No, that didn't work either. These paints are just really stuck in there. I let them dry. All right, that's fine. It is what it is. So I want some higher contrast than I've got going on right now. So I'm going to grab a black paint pen, and I'm actually going to make this sort of funky 70s. What time is it? 4:16. We've been here for a while. Thanks for your presence. So I'm going quite graphic. Before you do this, you want to make sure it's completely dry. Whoops. So this is a Uniposca paint pen. Oh, that's quite wet over there. Just hot. Make sure that this is actually dry. Yeah, this is funky 70s. This is totally something that I would have had in my childhood bedroom, right? The green would probably not be quite so earthy on that pattern. If it were from the 70s, it would probably be more acid green, but still, the feeling is there. That's why it's so cool to be a potter and a mixed media artist, because what you do in your mixed media art can be adapted to decoration. To some degree, right? Like you're not going to get, I mean, you can get really cool watercolor effects on your pottery. And there are some really lush metallics glazes out there. It's not the same in terms of the application. The application is quite time consuming, and like, for example, if you wanted to get this pattern, you would paint this as underglaze on your greenware, and then you would get that greenware bisque fired, and then you would put a clear coat glaze on it and fire it again. So it's not a one and done situation. There are steps that must be taken. I have a fly. So annoying. You can also just bisque your pieces and paint on those with underglazes, but you are risking the glazes can run with the underglazes, so you're way better off painting on your greenware. But your greenware does not look like what the bisque will look like. So your greenware is going to be much, much darker than when your bisqueware comes out of the kiln. So green is not fired yet, basically. Green is just the clay before the alchemy of fire being added to the process. Bisqueware is before it's glazed. Underglaze is not the final thing, right? Underglaze is just decorative. And then you put on your final glaze, and that makes it beautiful, glossy, shiny, food safe ceramics. In some cases, not all glazes are food safe. Gosh, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. And that's because I've had fabulous teachers. No, Leiko, I have not. I'm not ready to teach yet. I am getting there though. Um, there's a lot that I could teach in the realm of hand building. I'm pretty good with hand building. Um, I would rather do fun ASMR or just pottery hangouts for a while first, though. So eventually that will happen. I've done a few videos where I've time-lapsed a throwing session, and those were really fun to make, but I haven't done that in a while because I've just been really focused on cylinders and getting good cylinders happening. And sometimes when I'm throwing and trying to film it at the same time, I get stage fright. Right? I love this black outline. Like, this is just rocking my Pop-Tarts. And then if you're making stuff for surface pattern design, you want it to be matte. You don't want metallics in there. You don't want glossy paint in there because it's so difficult to photograph and you won't get a good print. So you want to use your, for patterning of the kind that you want to put on like products, right? So you want wallpaper, sheets, mugs, tapestries, that kind of thing. You want to go with matte color so that it's easy to photograph. And this is a perfect example of that. This would make an awesome mug. Like, I would just be thrilled to have a mug like this in my kitchen. And you can do print on demand stuff through Redbubble and Society6 and Zazzle really easily. In fact, I am developing a little e-course about that. It will be a quickie. It won't be meant for those who want to do this for like a career, but I do want to teach people who do it for fun how to use the stuff that they make to make like gifts for their friends and family and to set up a little Redbubble shop. So if they have people who like their patterns, they can just pick them up from Redbubble. So that's a course that I definitely want to teach. The fly is making me batshit. So if I had this to do over, knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have bothered with the initial black outline. That first black outline wasn't necessary because we're doing this thick black outline. But I didn't know at the time that I was going to do a thick black outline. I did not know that until I was finished. But you wouldn't have needed to do that initial black outline for this. Could have saved you some time. That's the thing about when you work intuitively and you don't really have a plan. Sometimes you do take, quote, unnecessary steps, unquote, but it's not really unnecessary because every step gets you to the next step. And you wouldn't have gotten to, you wouldn't have gotten where you end up without all of those steps. So there is no such thing as wasted time or wasted paint. If it got you where you are, then that was not a waste, right? I want Lydia to teach a course in getting your art in galleries and all of that wonderful stuff that she does. Not that I'm ready for that, but I'm so focused on journal art. Oh, this pattern makes me ridiculously happy. Hi, Jennifer. The Delft Factory, yes. Yeah, glaze does not look like what you think it's going to look like. You may think you're putting red on a pot, and then when it's fired, it's this beautiful blue. Glazes are trixies. But underglazes are not so tricksy. Underglazes are what they are. So when you reach for a blue underglaze, it will be blue. You can also mix underglazes, whereas you can't really mix glazes to any like predictable result, really. Look at how that popped. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so just a hint here, especially if you are the kind of person who would want to use this as a pattern, right? So grab a photograph of this once it's completely dry and it's matte, completely matte. So I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to grab my phone because your iPhone is like your high pixel phone cameras are perfect for this kind of thing. You don't need a pro camera for this kind of thing. You can get high enough resolution photographs from your phone. So I'm just going to use the photo setting. And then you can pull these into Photoshop and color correct them so that and you can even change colors. You can do anything you want with them in Photoshop. Anything. And then once you've done the photograph, then you can keep playing with it. Right? It ain't finished till it's finished. So you've got this pattern now. Now you could spray this with workable fixative and come in with gold leaf, gold pen, white, white paint, white pen, iridescent medium, metallic, acrylic. Like you could do anything you want with this now to create an original that you may sell, but have this pattern. This would be great for scrapbooking paper, for a mug, for notebooks. This would make a great notebook. Can you imagine this as the cover of your notebook? Right? This is so cheerful. So what I would do for a notebook is I would have this on the front cover and I would have the cobalt teal on the back cover. That's what I would do for a notebook. So take the photograph so that you have the nice matte finish and you can use this for print on demand stuff. And then you can go to town with it. You can do whatever you want with it. But I'm done because we've been here for a while today. But that was just so lovely. Like just, You know, you got to trust the process with this stuff. I have a girlfriend who often she's not an artist and she'll watch my videos and she'll be like, what the hell is she doing? Like she just doesn't understand the process until we get to this place, right? So it'll look like crap, really. It's got these like really difficult phases, really ugly phases. But once you like when you understand the process, you'll understand that this is where you end up. Look at what happened to that yellow with that lovely green background. That's just, oh my God, I want to lick it. I want to lick it. And I was really worried that this would be too dark, and it's not at all too dark. It's lovely. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, let me give you my face, and then we can all get on with our lives. Oh, that was amazing. I had so much fun. That was so good. Here's just a little view. I will definitely be doing this on TikTok, by the way. Oh, come on. You're no fun, Dee. No licking the art. That's no fun at all. No, it's actually valid because some colors are literally toxic. So don't lick your art. But you're allowed to want to. You're allowed to want to lick it and pet it and hug it and cuddle it. I do that all the time. So yeah, that was great. I had such a good time. I'm so glad that we're back. I'm so glad that all of the tech issues are sorted out. I'm so glad to be back on some semblance of a schedule. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope you learned something today. And if you did, I hope you share this video. I hope you tell your friends that I exist and that I do this so that we can get, the channel out there, get some traction happening here. And hey, there are links below to sign up for Book of Days 2024 fall session, which is incredible. Like I am learning as much about the topics that we're covering in that session as my students are, because it's a lot of wisdom sharing between us during our lives. And then the Year of Light taster sessions started today. So you want to get in there because that shit is incredible too. All right. That was amazing. Thank you all so much for coming. Sending you all the love. And I will see you in all of our places.